right, welcome tonight, Wednesday night, at the Eagles Nest Coaches Show with Coach David Perkins, sponsored by Brocato's Restaurant and Three Potato More. We got a few things that we're going to go over tonight. Thank you, John, for being here tonight, Coach David Perkins. Doug's not with us tonight, so me and John are sort of handling the duties tonight and coming up with what we're going to go over. Tonight we're going to also
next man up.
That's right.
Hey.
So, we're glad to be here tonight. Tonight we're going to go over our cool play of the game. We're going to go over our Sabine State Bank, player of the game, and we're going to also go over our you had one job to do at lineman of the game, in the first segment. But we're also going to talk about, we got special guest with basketball tonight's going to come on tonight, and then we're going to have Chris Gatlin's going to come on tonight, talk about the fundraiser or the
Eagle Excellence.
Eagle Excellence is coming up. So Chris will talk about that as well. But Coach, welcome. We're coming off it was a tough ball game Friday night, and we played against a very good Kinder ball club. And tell us what your thoughts.
Well, going in, obviously we knew it was going to be a tall task, and it absolutely was. But I'm proud of my guys and the way that we prepared and the way that we actually played in that game. You're going into the fourth quarter tied 24-24. That's about all we could ask. We let that fourth quarter get away from us a little bit. But, we competed the way I like to see us compete, especially at this time of the season against a really good team. We got 3 losses. We've got a loss to the number 1 team right now and the number 3 team. So tough schedule, and even, the other loss of Vols there in the top 15. So, we've played tough teams. We've won some, we've lost some, but now we're at the point of the season. Obviously, we're at the end of the schedule, but they're the most important games right now. Church Point's a really good game. I know we'll get to that here in just a second, but I'm proud of the guys and the way they played against Kinder. Obviously they scored a lot of points there in the fourth quarter, but, just a few things we could have did a little bit better. Maybe it would have been down to the wire.
Coach, I look at it, looking at the first half of the game, and you see what the offensive performance and putting 24 points on the board in the first half, comparing that, say, to the previous week at the Vols. What do you think attributed to that increase in points there in the first half versus the week prior?
Well, we opened it up a little bit more against Kinder. We saw some things against the Vols that we thought we could run the ball, which we did. We were a little bit successful. We didn't get the scoring opportunities until a little bit later in the game. We were able to score early against Kinder and, kind of kept up with them scoring. But, we just opened it up a little bit. Our offensive guys and coaches had a good game there and a good game plan. And obviously it was working, and it worked pretty well, and we'll see what happens this week.
Well, and you had a bunch of big plays in the first half. We hit a 35-yard field goal from Jude, puts us on the board. Hicks comes up with a big interception there early, and Aiden, gets a rushing touchdown in the first half too. So,
Matthew Hicks on that screen, on that screen as
65-yard screen pass.
Screen pass as well.
Right, you said the field goal. The last 2 games before the Kinder game, we got behind both times, and not just by just a little bit. We got behind double digits. So it was important for us, and we stressed this during the week that we go down and try to get some points early, and that's what we did. Of course, we would have liked to got the touchdown, but I thought the 3 points was big. It ended up being really big because of them going for 2 points and making their 2-point conversions some of the time. But the 3 points gave us a little bit of momentum. I understand, they came back down and scored, but then we matched that. So then it was kind of on from there. But that early score kind of gave us some momentum.
Yeah, and even at the end of the first half, we had a chance potentially to get 3 more points on the board.
We did.
Just couldn't get it off. But overall, the first half I thought was excellent.
Oh yeah, exactly. We were mistake-free. The defense was flying around. Jack Simpson, Jacob Janice. The whole entire defense.
Absolutely. You look at the score. Obviously it was 50-32. They kind of got a late touchdown there, kind of a garbage touchdown. But because we onside kicked it, tried to get the ball. But they wouldn't score there. But my point is, you look at that and you say, well, the defense didn't play well. Well, that's not the case.
They played well.
They got a great quarterback, and we stopped him. But he got some plays against us, and big plays against us. And that's the way the game goes, especially in today's football. You're going to see a lot of points scored. I was talking to our coaches the other day, and actually the principal. about, I go look at the high school scores at the end of the night. I like to look at them, and there's a lot of points being scored out there, and it's just the way the offenses are these days and the way they're designed, and it's filtered down from the NFL down to the colleges, and now it's down into the high schools. And you can play a great game on defense and give up 30, 40 points, and you can still win those games.
Right.
And that's just today's football.
Yeah. And you look at, the game last week, I look at the kickoff team. I know that there's been times throughout the year kind of some struggles there, but it seemed kickoff coverage was pretty spot on last week.
Absolutely. We're the type team that we can't really give up special team touchdowns, and so we've been kind of squibbing the ball, obviously, most of the season, and giving up field position, and we've been talking about it. So we just decided that we were going to kick it deep. We practiced it a lot during the week. We say we're taking a chance, but actually we did it very, very well. We were able to pin them, try to make them go 70, 80 yards, and it made a big difference.
And Kinder, looking at Kinder, they were like, they came after us tonight. They
Sure.
knew that the Eagles came after them, and for being the number 3 or 4 ranked team in the state, we gave them everything they wanted, and they probably had them on their heels, for all the way up through, for 3 quarters of play too, So,
Sure. And last year we went down there and they beat us pretty good. So that kind of enters into your psyche a little bit when you're a player. You thinking you can come up here, do the same thing you did the year before. You got mostly the same players, So, I think we took the first good hard hit at them. You always want to give the first punch. I think we did that. I think we got their attention. And like I said, it was a great game. It was an entertaining game. And I'm gonna tell you, there was a lot of jawing going on. And, it's one of those type games, both teams competitive, both teams wanting to win really bad. It's senior night. Our guys really wanting to win, so that's what you got.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. Senior night, and I tell you, it wasn't a distraction in the first half for sure. And you had, 15 seniors?
Had 15 seniors, and we all recognized them all before the game started. And that is a concern sometimes, just like homecoming is. You got a little bit of the distractions, but it absolutely was no distraction for us. The seniors went out there, and they gave it all they had and left it all out on the field.
Absolutely. Robert, you want to get into some awards tonight?
Awards, me and John, we text each other on the weekends on, where we figure it. And he and I were both at the same play. That play right before I think we were up 17-16, and the play.
So the one you're talking about is the Southern Area cool play of the game, right?
Cool play of the game from Jake to Matthew Hicks, when Matthew Hicks just completely laid out for it, and it was just it was a beautiful play.
Absolutely, and in case everybody doesn't know, I had a really good view of that particular play because I was not on the sideline at that particular time. So I was down there around the goal line to where he caught it, and when Jake first threw that ball, and I saw Matthew break open, when he first threw that ball, I was like, there's no way. I thought he was going to overthrow him, but, man, he got there and actually made a great catch, and he almost scored, but that's got to be the cool play of the game.
Southern Area cool play of the game, the 40-yard pass from Vaughn to Hicks in the second quarter, and like you said, I think everybody thought that ball was overthrown by about 2 yards, and then all of a sudden Hicks finds an extra step and makes a layout catch on it.
Absolutely, and he's an athletic guy. He's tall, so he's kind of lanky, so he's got a good reach. So it took every bit of reach he had and every bit of fingers he had, because I think he might have had kind of like the middle to the back of the ball. So great catch.
Good. So,
and a great throw.
Robert, let's go to the Express Pros. Lineman of the game, you had one job to do. Who you got?
That was Hollis Chapman. Hollis played a great game, and he also has got some pretty good, sings pretty well too, as coach. He did a great job with the national anthem as well. So, kudos to Hollis Chapman for the lineman of the game as well.
Absolutely, did a great job for us. He kind of dominated actually against a good team. We've been coaching him up. He's had a couple of games where we thought he could have played a little bit better, but he stepped it up against Kinder when he needed to, and he deserves it.
Yeah. So talking about your offensive line, been dinged up this year, obviously injuries. And these guys have had to shuffle a little bit.
Absolutely. Lane got hurt, so we had to move people around. Hayden Kidd has come in and played a little bit, but we had to move Kay Tossan to the center position. So, it's you get up there on that line. Of course, there's a little bit of different blocking schemes, but you're still blocking big guys. And we've got smart guys. You can throw a lot of stuff at them, and they'll learn it really well. So they're doing a great job for us.
Also got to give a shout-out Coach Redmond, Coach Court, and Coach Jay. On the lineman of the game, we get a lot of info from those guys.
Then when it comes back to the Southern the Sabine State Player of the Game. John and I conversed about that over the weekends, and there wasn't any doubt it was going to be Jake Vaughn.
Absolutely, another great game. That's who we depend on. He got us into the right place that we needed to be in, and I think he's here.
Jake, over here.
Jake,
Come on up.
Absolutely deserves it. Another great game by Jake Vaughn.
Sabine State Bank Player of the Game.
Player of the Game, Coach. Wherever you want to get right here, Jake.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. There we go.
I need to take a picture.
Yeah, we'll take a picture right there.
Come here.
Come on in, Jake.
I'm sorry,
And then
right
you
there.
go over there. Thank you.
All right, so
Well deserved.
talking about Jake, some of the stats, when you look at the stat sheet from Friday night, 17 of 27, I believe, about 160, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, rushed for about 72, 75 yards with a touchdown, and by the way, he punts pretty well.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that. Today we were working on some special teams, and he was out there punting, and he had 265-yard punts today. But, he had a great game. He kind of got us in the right position to do things, and you could see that, we had 17 completions for like 167 yards. So, he was taking what the defense gave him. We had the long one to Matthew, but, he was hitting the guys out in the flats, hitting different guys. Cutter Knowles also had a good role in this game. And, it was just a complete team. I wish I could say a team win, but, with the way we played, there's no moral victories out there, and we will learn from this. But, man, the team played really well, and proud of them. And Jake obviously is leading us to that. So, off the defense, like we talked about it already, you see the 50 points, but they played well also.
Yeah, they did, absolutely. So, Robert, got anything?
I'm good. Ready for that next segment. And we'll figure out what with our basketball coaches. We'll get a look on the preseason on what the basketball team's going to be looking like here.
Absolutely. The girls, and they'll talk about it here just in a second, but, they actually had a scrimmage last night at Bunkie, and I'll let them tell how that went out. But, they've got girls returning, so they've got a senior-laden team also that's been to the Final Four a few times. So, and they got a great coach, an experienced coach, and you'll find out more about them. But both teams have been working really hard, and they're getting them in shape. So I think we'll have great seasons by both.
Good deal. Well, we'll go ahead. We're going to take a quick break here. We're going to be back with Principal Gatlin. We're going to talk about the Eagle Excellence Plan. And you're watching the Coaches Show live with Coach David Perkins here at Brocato's and sponsored by 3 Potato More. We'll be right back after this break.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to save the day. From keeping you comfortable to plumbing repairs and even generators, we do it all. Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, your one-stop solution for AC, plumbing, and generators. If you need us to save the day for you, call Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
Yeah, so what happened out there tonight?
We struck out at home with leftovers, then we remembered walk-ons.
What effect did the situation have?
Spirit soared. Nick took on a burger, Jen obliterated her ribeye po' boy, and speaking of spirits, Laura even scored a real tasty cocktail. She needed that.
Any lessons learned today?
Yeah, head straight to walk-ons.
Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers, and cocktails. Walk-ons for the win.
Welcome back to the Eagles Nest Coaches Show live from Brocato, sponsored by 3 Potato More for segment 2 here. We got Principal Gatlin in the house.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan Brocato over there.
Yep, good evening.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the Eagle Excellence Plan, a little campaign fundraiser going on at Menard. So Principal Gallen, why don't you tell us what's happening over at Menard these days with that?
So if you've been over there lately, you've seen parts of Phase 1 coming in, a lot of greenery, trees. We have some magnolia trees. We have some live oak trees. We had a man come in through our Distinguished Alumni last year, gave us some startup money for it. And right now we're selling the trees. The live oaks are $1,500 and $2,500, I believe. Let me check that in my notes here. Yep, small live oaks are $1,500. Large live oaks are $2,500. The magnolias are $1,250 a piece. People are doing them. They're buying them in memory or in honor of a family member. We're not putting the names on the trees. We'll have a memorial wall or a donation wall where we recognize those people outside the school office. In addition to that, we'll have some shrubbery and just a lot of green in front of the school. When you come by the school, you see a lot of cars. We want to kind of eliminate that and kind of set off the school as a feature. Phase 1, there's going to be some signage on the front of the gym. There's going to be some lighting on the chapel, possibly a new cross on the chapel. We want the focal point of the campus to be the chapel because it's a beautiful chapel. Be some lighting where it sets up at night. All the signage on the front of the school will have backlit. It'll be backlit, so when you drive by at night, it's going to be beautiful. And then we're going to have some, I call them gateway monuments. They mimic the chapel, the shape of the chapel. They're about 12 feet high. They're going to be at the entryway. So to really set off the campus as a school. And what the man told us last year when he came in, he's like, a lot of excellent things happen outside, but inside the classrooms. But the outside does not mimic that. So when you drive by, we want you to see excellence in that area.
Ryan, you too. I know we got a lot of family members that attended Menard, and it goes way back. When was that school originally built?
1969.
1969.
Yep. So it's starting to show its age a little bit.
It is, but I'll tell you what, it's still one of the staples of Alexandria.
Whenever
you drive by it, like you said, the chapel sticks out.
Yep.
The big pyramid-shaped chapel like that. One of the things that we were talking about earlier was the involvement of some of the alumni. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, one of our things with our fundraising is we want to reach the alumni. When you look at Menard and the history of Menard, even Providence and Memorial, those schools with the brothers and the sisters, and the alumni at Menard has really gone on, just not in the state of Louisiana, but the United States and even parts of the world, to do some really good things. Anytime you talk about private school fundraising, you're usually talking about current parents, local alumni. So what we try to do with this Distinguished Alumni is reach out to alumni that haven't been connected to Menard in quite some time. And we really got fortunate. I mean, when you look at some of the applications that come in, there's some incredible people graduating from Holy Savior Menard. We've been fortunate because those people have actually come in and spoken to our students about their success, how it started at Holy Savior Menard or Menard Memorial or Providence. And so our students have gotten to spend some time with these people that have gone off and done great things. And you guys are right. There's tremendous alumni support, not only here in central Louisiana, but the state, country, and even in the world, around the world.
And Menard's kind of a special school because it is so small.
Yep.
And I know that both of my parents graduated from Menard. I'm a Menard graduate. My son is currently at Menard, and my daughter will be there next year. So it's one of those things that I can't see any other good place to send them because it's this small school where everybody buys into everything that happens at Menard.
Yeah, and when you talk about tradition and family tradition, it's been there for a long time. That means a lot, and people will give, and they'll give big money because the school has meant so much to them over the years, and I think that's important. When he's talking about the legacy families, people have been there 2, 3, 4 generations now, and that's what makes the school special because you can still talk to. I know your dad's still very involved, your uncle's involved in it, and so it's neat to hear the story, the history of Menard. Phase 2, actually, it includes like a memorial garden. It's on the side of the school where the HVAC system is. And what we're going to do there is we'll put the flagpoles there. We'll have the American flag, the the diocesan flag, the state flag. So we'll kind of have a flag garden there, but we're also going to have a part where we tell the history of the school. So people can come by, see the history of the school, and again, that'll be another opportunity for people to recognize members of their family.
So from a time frame standpoint, what are you looking like, time frame, say on phase 1, completing and moving to phase 2?
You know, all of the trees right now are planted, and so that went pretty quick. Mike Burns, I believe he owns it. It's called Bold. It's Burns Outdoor Living Design or something like that. He's an alumni. His dad was an alumni coach at Louisiana College, so he's come in and done the planting. He's building the boxes around the trees, so it's really going to give it some symmetrical stuff once he gets the boxes in. Gibco is going to take care of the lettering, so we're hoping that part's done end of November. First part of the year, we look to start phase 2.
Yeah,
next year.
Well, good deal. Well, Principal Gatlin, Coach,
there you go.
Appreciate you coming on, sharing the Eagle Excellence Plan with us.
Yeah, let me tell you. So. I see the advertisement on Facebook, and I see the renderings, and whenever I see those renderings, it gets me excited that it's so gorgeous and so beautiful, and it's so achievable. And it's going to take the community support, the alumni support, the current students, and I think it's doable. I think it's possible, and I think that we're on our way doing it right now.
Yeah, you know, you got to have a plan when you start. You got to have a vision. We have some people with great vision. And then we got to have some financial backing, and there's plenty of ways to give. The next part of phase 1, I forgot about this. We're trying to remodel the classrooms. We want to upgrade some of that because the building is 1969 when it was built, and it's starting to show its age a little bit. And so if we can modernize our classrooms, if people want to give to that, you can give partial amounts. The classrooms are about $10,000 a piece. You know, so we're gonna get into some of that too. We've already remodeled one. I think we got 3 more coming. So we've got some money for that. So if you're interested in giving, contact the school. Lynn Roy is our institutional advancement director. She can do that. There's places on our website where you can donate specifically to this cause and all that stuff. So it's good.
Well, we appreciate it and appreciate you being on. We're going to come back with segment 3, and we're going to talk a little bit about Menard Eagle basketball coming up. We're going to have the boys coach and the girls varsity coach on with us. So you are watching the Eagles Nest Coaches Show live from Brocato's. Catch us on the backside of this break.
When it comes to celebrating big moments, BK Distributors has you covered. From eye-catching fathead decals and senior banners to custom cutouts that bring your favorite faces to life, we help make memories larger than life. Cheer loud and proud with hand fans and personalized signs, or honor achievements with awards and trophies that shine just as bright as the people who earn them. Whether it's for your school, your team, your business, or your community, BK Distributors delivers quality, creativity, and service you can trust. BK Distributors, where every moment deserves to stand out.
In Central Louisiana, you might see me at the ballparks or soccer fields, or we might cross paths at the grocery store. I'm your local Farm Bureau insurance agent, your local expert when it comes to protecting what you love and depend on. I'm Jason Hawk. Learn more about how Farm Bureau insurance can save you time and money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK and let me help you protect your biggest investments. Real service, real people. Farm Bureau Insurance.
Welcome back to the Eagles Nest Coaches Show live from Brocato's and sponsored by 3 Potato More. Got a couple basketball coaches with us, Ryan, tonight. We got Coach Briggs Carbo and Craig Whittington, Menard boys and girls varsity basketball coaches, and you're going to be able to see some Menard games on 446 Sports this year. So that's
That's the first time?
They've done a couple of games in the past few years, but I think
ramp it up this year.
I think we're going to have a lot more games this year than what we've had in the past. So
I love that.
Briggs, Craig, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Go ahead, Coach Craig.
You want the elderly first?
Before you.
So I've been coaching 35 years, 27 in the public system, and the last 6 or 7 between University Academy, Sacred Heart, and now at Menard. And
Coach, has it predominantly been on the girls' side or boys and girls?
Boys and girls.
Okay.
My first 10 years was coaching boys,
Okay.
and then 1 year I had to coach them both, and then I was going to have to do it again. And my principal said, "You got to find one of the." Well, I found somebody to coach, but he said, "I want boys." So I said, "Well, I'll take the girl," and I never looked back. I just.
Well, I think it definitely takes a special animal to be the girls' coach as opposed to the boys only.
Definitely agree.
Briggs, what about you?
Yeah, this is my second year coaching. I'm a Menard alumni. I played basketball. My brothers played basketball for Menard, won for a little bit. I'm excited for this year.
You do a little teaching at Menard too, right?
Girls junior high PE.
All right.
Good.
All right.
Tough curriculum.
Yes.
Yeah. So looking at this basketball season, and tell us a little bit about your schedule, districts that you're in. With the football, we got same district, I'm assuming, as football.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You want to go? Or?
Yeah, Rapides doesn't have football there and there. Other than that, it's pretty much the same district as every other sport.
Now, I did look at the girls' schedule the other day, and I did notice that it seemed like there was a good bit of travel, and that's going to happen this year. I want to say there were how many games total are there?
I think we have 32. I think Coach Corbin and him have 34. They're right at the limit.
Yeah.
And, so it sort of depends on contracts. The teams that when I came to Menard, if it's a year where you owe that team an away game, and next year it'll revert back, we'll have more home games than away games.
Now, we had Coach Perkins on earlier talking about the girls. The girls, obviously, in the past couple of years have had really good success, and obviously looking to build on that. What are some of y'all's goals this year and looking to do?
Our goal is definitely to make it to the tournament, the top four, and then from there it's one game at a time. So this year we're starting out a little bit more experience. Last year I inherited a team basically with two kids with a lot of game experience because they had lost a lot of seniors the previous year. So this year we have a senior-oriented team, experienced. They're more familiar with the system that I put in, a little bit more depth than we had last year. And tempo is going to be a little bit more, providing we stay out of foul trouble most games. We'll push it up the floor and put a little bit more pressure defensively. Should be an exciting year.
Yeah.
Briggs, what about you? What is your team primarily made up of older students or younger?
This year I will have 5 seniors.
Okay.
A junior and the rest are majority sophomores.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's good and bad. There's still a little bit of senior leadership right there, but there's also that good core group of those sophomores that are going to be growing into that leadership position.
Yes, sir.
So looking at it, season tickets, I'm sure people can still buy season tickets. Got players selling them?
I don't know. We haven't really even started that. Like he was saying, we for boys, only have 10 home games out of 34, wow. So we haven't even started looking at that.
Yeah. So looking at the season coming up with your team, Briggs, results, the Menard boys team has had the run the girls team have had. What are you looking to do?
Just keep improving. When I took over, I think they won 1 game in 2 years, and I did the math at our awards banquet. We won 7 last year. That's a good increase.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's try to get that same increase this year.
Yeah. Now, Coach Whittington, y'all had I was told to ask you about a scrimmage last night. I think y'all had a scrimmage last night?
Yes, we scrimmaged Bunkie at Bunkie last night. I think in old days you didn't keep score at scrimmages, but they, nowadays everybody keeps it. So I think it was 50 to 22, something like that. We pretty much controlled the tempo of the game from start to finish. We had a sluggish start. The first 3 or 4 minutes, it took us a while to get into what we wanted to do offensively. And once we did get in it, along with the pressure that we put, my 2 guards did a great job. Sawyer, they're both here tonight. Sawyer and Jamie sort of dictating what we wanted to do defensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so looking back on last year's season, I know that there's always you always have that plan for improvement, and I know that you can't start practicing real basketball over the summer, but you can start doing conditioning and doing different things like that. So did you guys see did you see what you wanted to see over the summertime as far as involvement from the students?
Definitely. Most of my guys, we played all summer long, whether it was with the time gap to play with Menard or travel that, we were a part of, that people taught our ways of playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely did.
Well, that's good. I think that I think that's a good barometer, if you will, early on to see, like, all right, who are going to be my leaders? Who's going to be the people that said that they were going to step up this year, and actually see if that actually comes to fruition.
So when do y'all season start? When's the first game?
November 17th. I have us in a jamboree at Northwest, and it's basically a 20-minute halftime. And then from then, the following Monday, Tuesday, we'll start. We have one more scrimmage with it's a 3-way with St. Mary's and Rapides. Not next week, but the following week.
Briggs, you starting about the same time?
Yes, sir. We'll play in that same jamboree, and then our first real game is, I believe, November 19th.
Okay. Well, good deal. Well, guys, we appreciate y'all being on, introducing yourselves to the football group here. And you got a couple of players. Y'all brought a couple of players for us to visit with, so we're going to have them on next segment. Right after this, and you are watching the Eagles Nest Coaches Show live from Brocato's and sponsored by 3 Potato More also.
Discover golf like never before at Links on the Bayou, Central Louisiana's hidden gem. Welcome to a golf experience like no other. Our Links style design sets the stage for an exciting and unique adventure. 5 distinct tee boxes cater to every skill level, ensuring a game that's perfect for you. And when you're ready to refuel, head to Becky's Bunker Club for dining with a view and gear up in our pro shop. Ready to elevate your golfing experience? Tee off at Links on the Bayou today. Links on the Bayou, redefining the way you enjoy golf.
At Louisiana Athletic Club, we believe in keeping fitness affordable. We're proud to offer the most extensive fitness options in the area, all at an unbeatable price. From group fitness and childcare to heated pool and family-friendly amenities in 2 convenient locations, we've got everything you need to stay fit and active as a family. Join Louisiana Athletic Club today, where quality fitness meets affordable pricing and everyone can thrive. Find your fit at louisianaathleticlub.com.
All right, welcome back to the Eagles Nest Coaches Show here at Brocato's, and sponsored by 3 Potato More. Tonight we have 2 basketball players with us here tonight, and before they can tell us a little bit about this upcoming season, we have Baylor Smith and Sawyer Shelton. Welcome. Thank you for both of you coming.
Sir, thank you all.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Both of you guys are coming into your senior year, and I know you're looking forward to the upcoming basketball season. So why don't you guys kind of give us a little background on playing basketball at Menard, like when you started, what position, and whatever else.
So I've been playing since 7th grade, and we've had a very successful program these past few years. And we've made it to semis and the quarters all of high school. All of high school. So we've all been very successful, and we all know how to work together very well. So I think we are very excited for this upcoming season. And
what position do you play?
Shooting guard.
Shooting guard.
I like that. And what about you, Baylor?
This is my 2nd year at Menard. I transferred last year. So last year was my first year playing. Definitely a different season, like young team, but we still have the same team this year, and everybody's looking forward to it. Everybody's been competing in practice and working hard, so We're looking forward to playing and seeing how the season goes.
Yeah, that's good, and that's kind of important for the boys because, you know, it's kind of been a rough go in the past, and I think some consistency with some coaching is going to help that out a lot. And I know the girls have had that, and so maybe it's time for the boys to get some of that consistency, and I think that when you have that consistency, that's whenever you can build leadership and you can build rapport with your teammates and all of that.
Yes, sir.
Sawyer, you had the experience of it going to March Madness is what they call it. Tell us a little bit about March Madness.
It was such a fun experience. It was like a vacation, honestly, because it was like so much fun. We like got treated so well because it was all about us, and it was just a great time. But also, it was like when it came to game time, it was like very serious, and we all were like so locked in and focused on the game. So it was very nice to like be like united as a team to know that this is what we want to do, and we did very well. Came short, but
March Madness is the semifinals and the finals, and a lot of times they're rotated between cities between Lake Charles and Hammond. I don't know where they are this year and where were they at last year, but to me that's the old Sweet 16.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Sawyer's kind of a different animal because she's also a state champion softball player, and then trying to make a run at it again at softball this year. So maybe she's the right recipe for to do it for both teams again.
And Baylor, you've been playing for a couple of years. What position do you play?
I'm a point guard and shooting guard.
Okay.
Just handling the ball, and I can play. I think I play off ball better, but
you play off.
I do, but if I'm point guard, I can play the position just as fine too.
How many seniors are coming back on this year's team?
We have 4 seniors, I believe, and we had no seniors last year, so it's definitely going to be exciting to see how we do.
Experience is going to help, especially down the long run. Having those upperclassmen, means a lot. Senior leadership, it's going to get you through that long season because we're talking November to basically March.
Yep.
It's a good 5 months. And you need those guys on your squad, and it's a long season.
Yes, sir, it is.
Baylor, so do you watch a lot of professional basketball?
Oh, that's all I do.
All right. So who is it that you try to do you watch the most and try to mimic, if anybody?
I don't really have a guy I watch the most, but a team, I'll watch the Kings. That's my favorite NBA team, but I'll definitely try to mimic like their guards, like just play off of them, see how they play, see how they move the ball, and then college is a lot more competitive than NBA. It's probably better to watch. So yeah. I'm a Baylor fan, of course. And
right. So you're a Baylor fan?
I am. Yes,
the
sir.
Baylor Bears.
Where
Kim Mulkey. Louisiana Tech via Kim Mulkey.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Baylor's put on some great programs on the and they still do. They've got a great program over in Waco.
Yes, sir.
So sorry. What about you? Do you watch professional basketball?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Honest.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. So, Sawyer, I know you like the Baylor Bears. Any other team you like going to watch, or watch on TV?
Baylor and Kings are probably my 2 teams I watch. I mean, I'll watch any basketball to be honest, but those 2 teams are my favorite to watch.
So we got a New York Knicks team that you root for in Louisiana. That's pretty.
Kings.
Oh,
Sacramento Kings.
Oh, the Sacramento Kings. My apologies.
I might be the only fan to be honest.
Wow.
I'm fine with it.
So do you, Baylor, do you play any other sports?
I'm going to play golf this year.
Okay, gotcha.
So.
Yeah, so golf and there shouldn't be any, or is there any overlap with the golf and basketball?
No, sir, I don't believe so.
And then softball should be picking up when basketball is ending?
Yes, sir,
okay.
But I also do soccer and track as well.
Gotcha.
Soccer, track, basketball, and softball.
And then she tries to squeeze school in somewhere.
So when does school start? Is school anywhere between there?
Not really. It's only sports.
Only sports. I like hearing that. Only sports. But I know both of you. As far as you're getting a great education here at Menard, and some of the best scores in the area come straight out of here on at Menard. So.
Yeah, we were talking to Coach Gatlin about it earlier. Me being an alumni from Menard, I know what that close, tight-knit family is at Menard, and especially comes through playing sports. Some of my best friends are people that I played football with and played soccer with, and still friends with them today. So, Menard is a different animal because you can play multiple sports and have different, your softball friends, your basketball friends, your golf friends, and you're not able to do that at every school. So
Right.
it's something that makes Menard special.
I always like to ask this question because I've asked it to some of the football players. Baylor, who inspires you the most here at Menard? What person or teacher or coach or someone like that you really just, and you can say,
I'll go with Coach Briggs.
All right, cool.
Since I got to Menard, he probably did. So.
And what are your goals whenever you leave Menard?
Just carry on what I'm trying to create in school.
You want to go to college? Or
Yes, sir. I want to go to college and get into dental school. I want to be an endodontist. That's my main goal.
Dentist.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Sawyer, what about you, girl?
Like my mentor?
Yeah, who's your mentor here at Menard?
I would say Coach Brad Turney, just because he's such a good patient. He's so patient and such a good teacher, and he just is like always willing to help us get better, even though we all have bad days. He's always there to uplift us.
Coach Turney, that's a good. I know Coach Turney. If he's watching, he'll be glad to hear that. And next time I see Coach Turney, I'm gonna let him know, that Sawyer, looks up to you as a person. And what do you want to do whenever you leave and graduate in May? What do you want to do?
I plan to go to LSU, and I want to eventually go to med school and be a trauma surgeon, and then very far future.
Wow. I like hearing the medical school, the orthodontist. So LSU is going to be going to get two great ones. Come in the near future as far as a doctor and a dentist. And we appreciate that because we all need good doctors. We all need good dentists as well.
Sawyer, do you aspire to do any sports at LSU?
I was thinking about it for a while, but I decided not to because I want to live that college life
Well, that's
instead
cool.
of focus on sports.
What's good about LSU is they have so many different club and intramural sports. So if you ever want to do that, that opportunity's there for you.
Now, Sawyer, there is an opening right now down in Baton Rouge. You want to try to take your hand at that?
Yeah, head coach. I hear it pays pretty good money
It
too.
pays
if you
pretty
want to
good
jump
money
in.
too.
I guess I have enough time. I can balance.
You can balance. What about you, Baylor?
Might as well.
You
want to
go? You want to go to Baylor?
I would love to, but I think I'm going to go to LSU.
You want to go to LSU as well?
I would definitely love to go to Baylor.
I was wondering where the name Baylor came from, and I'm glad you.
Well, I actually don't even know where it came from, but I found out who Baylor was, and I just liked them from there on.
Baylor
He just
Bears.
grabbed onto it.
He
I
grabbed
like
onto it. Speaking of Baylor Bears, I'm a old college football junkie, and they used to have some of the great football teams with Mike Singletary and Coach Grant Taft, and so I've been over to Waco many times. As I was about your age, so it's a great experience over there.
Yes,
so,
sir.
And what's your personal goals as far as this coming up year? I mean, you're looking at, you got, I know it's a thing, out of the stretch as far as how many points you want a game or you want to just win.
I'm looking to win. I'm more of a team guy. I look at my points obviously on the side. But I'm looking at wins and making a playoff run this year.
We got to make that playoff run. I know it's going to be a tough district with Kinder and Voiles and Rapides, so it's a very, a difficult district. I know Kinder made it to the semifinals or quarterfinals last year, so
Yes, sir.
it's going to be a very challenging, season, and we're looking forward to having y'all on 446 Sports. And what about you, Sawyer?
I'm hoping to go back to Hammond, where the state championship's at, and actually take one home this year.
I knew she was going to say that. She got a small taste of it, and she wants to repeat it
Yeah,
again.
it was the best feeling ever.
That is one thing you always want to repeat as much as when you start it, you don't want to. You want to finish.
It never gets old.
It never
it's like the
gets
best feeling ever.
The best feeling in the world, because that's what everybody strives for. Either it's on the boys' side to go to, whether it's in Lafayette or in Lake Charles or the March Madness, for the girls. That is the ultimate goal, for most of these teams, especially in the local area as well.
Yep, I agree. And like we were talking about it earlier, you being a multi-sport athlete, you get the diversity of being able to do it in so many different ways. So I think it's great. I wish you guys the best of luck all season long, and I think that you guys know what the hard work it takes to be successful, and I foresee that happening for both of you guys.
Yeah, sorry, I've been down to Sulphur many times too. What you like Sulphur, or do you like that Sweet 16 or March Madness, or both?
They're so different. It's kind of hard to compare, but I don't know, because they're both so such a high energy, but different kind of energy. It's more competitive, I feel, for basketball because it's so loud because you're in an enclosed building. But Sulphur, it's thousands of people running around you, yelling at you. I don't know, it's just different. different kind of intensity.
Well, I'm glad that, for a person that's been there in two different sports, I love hearing your response on that, because a lot of people just wish they could get to go in at least one of them.
Yeah.
And you've had the opportunity to go in, two of them, and that says a lot about you and the program here at Menard. And, we're looking for big things from both of you. And I know, Mr. Ryan and I will definitely be here, coming to basketball season, because, it gets a little cold outside. And these, myself, I'd love to come see you in soccer, but sometimes it's just a little too cold for me.
Yeah, it is really cold.
And it's starting to get that way. But I tell you what, I thank both of you for coming in, sharing who you are and your insights. And we're going to come right back with Ryan and I will have Coach Perkins when we come back, and we'll start talking about the Church Point Bears on Friday night. You are watching the Eagles Nest Coaches Show on 446 Sports.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota equipment. As the #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S., they offer the versatility and reliability to get the job done right all year round. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment with 0% financing available, or save up to $6,000.
Find a dealer near you at LouisianaKubotaDealers.com.
Hi, this is Robin with Little Cakes with Big Attitude, and I have some exciting news. Fall is finally here, and that means our amazing fall flavors are ready to go, hot, iced, or frozen. Delight your taste buds with flavors like spiced caramel apple, cinnamon roll, maple pecan, s'mores, and of course, pumpkin spice latte. And just when we thought fall couldn't get any better, we were voted Sinlaw's Choice for Best Bakery and Best Dessert. Little Cakes with Big Attitude in Alexandria or our Pineville location. Stop by today.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to save the day. From keeping you comfortable to plumbing repairs and even generators, we do it all. Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, your one-stop solution for AC, plumbing, and generators. If you need us to save the day for you, call Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
We're back at the Eagles Nest Coaches Show here at Brocato's, and also co-sponsored with 3 Potato More. We got Coach David Perkins and Ryan Brocato. Coach, Friday night, it's Friday night, week 9.
Can you believe
we
it?
travel down south, to a place that I've never been to, but I've heard about it, but never been to Church Point.
I'm sure they got some good food down there.
They do.
They got to.
They have to. I mean, they're somewhere between Opelousas and Eunice, down in that little Midland Richmond area, which not a lot of people get down that way.
Absolutely, you know, and so that's one of the good things about playing some of these little southern teams. You know, we went to Abbeville,
right?
You know, Church Point. So there's a bunch of little mom and pops or type places to eat. So you got to kind of research it.
I definitely on the way down to Abbeville, we got off the beaten path and went and found some boudins and cracklins on the way down there. So that was a nice little journey.
You know, I watch a little social media, and there's a young lady on there by the name Hal.
That's right.
You know, Hal is from down there at Church Point as well. Hal's Cajun accent or something like that.
Yeah.
She's got her own little, TikTok thing, and cooks all the time. So that's where she's from. And the only other person I knew from Church Point was Coach Mike Richard from.
Absolutely, I was going to say that. Coach Mike Richard, who's actually coached at Menard a couple seasons, but he's from Church Point.
He's from Church Point.
He's pretty staple up here. He's been an offensive line. He's been a head coach. Offensive line coach is where he's kind of started out at, but that's where he's from.
And that's my next door neighbor, actually.
Absolutely, really.
Yeah, Coach Richard is my next door neighbor, and he lives and breathes football. He
does.
And we're looking for. Tell us about what you've seen on film about these.
Church Point, you say we haven't been there, but Church Point was a team that Menard used to play back in the early 70s, so that's the last time that Menard has been there.
Oh, wow.
Now, actually, we did play them last year at our place, which they did get us, but so it's going to be a new experience for us going to Church Point, but we've been to Abbeville, and we're good with wherever we go. But they're a really good team. They are really well coached. And I know I said that about Kinder, and they are, but this guy is he's been a junior college coach, so you can watch the films and you can tell that it's just a little bit different.
Yeah, there's something different about it.
Absolutely, But and when I got that feel with it last year, I got to talk to him a little bit, and he's a really cool, pretty cool guy.
Is that Coach Poole?
It is.
Coach Poole.
It is. And so he's a good coach, and they do a lot of different things on offense. And what they do is they get in a lot of formations, and they're going to make you prepare. So, and that's why we've been practicing so much the last 2 days. Today and yesterday we put in a lot of time. But it's just because we've got to go over all their formations, the things they like to do out of those formations. A lot of it is eye candy, but you got to be ready for wherever they put their guys. You got to cover that area, and that's kind of what we've been going through. Tuesday was a day where we were making a few mistakes, and we correct them, at night, and then we go back today. And today we had a really good day. We did a lot of 7-on-7. They're going to try to throw the ball a little bit, but they are a good running team. But we've been doing a lot of 7-on-7, and we did that yesterday and today also. So before we went and did our team, so they like I said, they do a lot of different things. They make you prepare for a lot of different things, and they do it well.
I was able to talk to the principal yesterday, Mr. Lee Belliard yesterday, and gave us permission to come down there and ask him about where we could set up, and he said they got their own crew, and he goes, we could put you on the roof, and I was like, I think this weekend, we're going to go back to the visitor side because I'm not really want to make that climb up on top of that.
It's a long way up there.
It's a long way up there with stairs.
We're going to get in the back in a truck again?
We're going to be in the stands ourselves. We're going to pick up the power supply.
Well, they got a pretty. We've been watching them on video, and so their stands are pretty big.
It's pretty big and pretty nice, and
pretty nice.
At the bottom, and so we don't have to worry about any gaps down in the below. So. Ryan's going to be with us, and John's going to be out of town, so we'll have Nick and, Landon on the camera. So we're going to have a great, time down there Friday night, especially when we come home with that big W.
Absolutely. It would be a good W for, right now we're sitting at 14 in the power rankings with the playoffs looming here in a couple of weeks. So we're trying to get those power points. Top 16, well, actually the top 8 get a bye, and then the next 8, which go up to 16, will get a home game, and that's what we really want to. We want to get a home playoff game. So we got to be at least 16. We don't want 16.
Right.
We'd like to be better than that. Right now we're sitting 14. But if we could get this game, this is Church Point. It's a 3A team. We're playing up a little bit.
It's a good power point for sure.
There's a lot of power points. They're 6-2. So if we could get that W, maybe that could clinch that home field for it. Not saying it will. But maybe it could, and then we could go into that Port Bear game, which is another district game, with not that up against us. But it doesn't matter. Either way it happens, we're still going to try to get that home playoff seed, which is one of our goals at the beginning of the year.
Absolutely.
And,
Coach,
hopefully we can get there.
Do you notice on the Church Point team, do they have? Are they deep? Do a lot of players play both sides of the ball?
No, not really. We looked at the roster today. They got 79 guys on their roster.
Wow. Okay.
But kind of a strange little thing is only 7 are seniors. But
wow.
But they have 29 freshmen, so you got things in there. But all 7 seniors start.
Okay.
But they've played against us last year. We kind of know what they do, and like I said, they're coached very well. Not too, they'll have a couple guys that'll go both ways, but not constantly go both ways. But they got some really good athletes. Their front line on defense is pretty big, and obviously on offense also. So, we're a little undersized as far as that goes on both sides of the ball. But, we're going to get after them a little bit. And
yeah, well, look, I like the idea of being small and scrappy sometimes.
And that's Menard. And you can look at it as, we can just run the ball right at them because they're small. But, it's not really the case. And I think we play the run really well. They're like a 60-40 team. They like to run about 60% of the time and pass 40. But, we're pretty good against the run, so that 40% pass may go up a little bit against them. Then they may look at some of the other films and think that they can throw the ball a bit. Kinder quarterback, a great player. I think we played him well, but like he showed off and he's pretty good and he threw the ball around. So they'll see that film, and probably think that they can do some of the things that Kinder did.
Yeah.
And but we'll be ready for that. And
I tell you what. The intensity that we came out with the first half last week's game, if we could have that as a first half, second half, then they have no chance in beating us because that was high level intensity football right there. And if we can put it together for the first half, second half, I think it's going to be off to the races.
Absolutely, and it's important for us to get off to a good start. Not that if we don't, we can't win, but I talked about this a little bit earlier. If you go with our last 3 weeks, 3 weeks ago we got behind. We did come back, it's tough, and then the game after that we got behind again and we came back, but we just didn't quite get there. But then last week we started off, we took the lead, which was really big against a team of that caliber.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And we kind of hit them in the mouth first, and I don't think they were expecting that, and from that point on they knew that it was going to be a good game. And then they went and scored immediately. But then we came back and scored again, so we got to have that kind of intensity. And I told the team after the game was over how proud I was of them, but I was like, this was what we were looking for, was this competitiveness that you gave us tonight.
Yeah.
And then that's what I got to see this Friday night.
Well, Coach, I know that this game's going to be on Halloween. So
absolutely.
Have you noticed there being any extra distractions? I know these are high school age kids and they're not going trick-or-treating, but just in general.
That ain't even really creeped into our minds that it's Halloween. They can do things tomorrow night or Saturday night. But,
I always love doing my research on who we're going to play. And so I said, where did the Bears come from as far as Church Point? The Louisiana Black Bear is their mascot. I'm like, makes sense. I said,
makes a lot of sense.
Not the times you hear about, it's the Louisiana Black Bear is their mascot. But, I did my research on that one.
I like that.
I like that as well. And how has practice been this week? As far as anybody is sick, healthy-wise or anything?
We got the same guys. Lane is out, so we don't have him. But everybody's good to go. No, didn't have really no injuries last week. It was a physical game. There was a lot of chirping going on during the game, but everybody's good to go.
And it's Friday night,
and it's Friday night, and you said it. It's Halloween, and that some freaky things have happened on Halloween night, no matter whether it was South Louisiana or North Louisiana, whatever it may be. I don't even know if I've ever even coached on Halloween night before.
I don't remember. So the last time it would have happened would have been, I think, 7 years ago.
I don't remember it.
I probably wasn't watching high school football at that time of my life, so I don't remember it ever happening. I know that I never played on Halloween, but I think it's kind of a cool story, to be able to play on Halloween.
2017 is probably back, or 2018. I remember, I have an idea where I was at, but, I don't remember, back in those days, you were always looking. I remember growing up, Daddy would always go, we were watching Pineville Peabody. How do I remember? Pineville Peabody would always play on Halloween night. I'm like, how did this happen, But those are just some of the memories.
They may renew that little rivalry because Peabody's going to go up in classification, and now Peabody and Pineville will be in the same district, so they can have them another rivalry going on.
Exactly, because they're going to swap Neville for Peabody.
Absolutely.
And so that's going to be interesting, and we'll see how the redistricting, comes out, that's another.
We've been waiting. We want to see where we're going to fall.
We're going to see where we fall
see
and
what
who's
happens.
going to go up and who's going to go down, because that's going to be a topic of conversation.
Yep.
Here in the next couple of months is where those numbers are and where they're going to fit in everybody.
Yep. They've already given us some of the smaller sports, and told us where they're going to be, but that's not what we're waiting on. We're waiting to see the major sports and see where they're going to put everybody in their divisions.
That's right.
Yeah, that anticipation is kind of fun.
It is, kind of fun, and then, because there'll be redistricting, there'll be new schedules, possibly, on our schedule, we'll probably have some new teams.
We will.
On our, schedule for next year, and so we may be in a different district, and, who knows what
It's
happens.
all possible.
Anything's possible nowadays. So, from myself, Ryan, Coach David Perkins, we appreciate y'all coming and out tonight to Brocato's and, watching the Eagles Nest Coaches Show. Come join us Friday night down in Church Point. I know you could watch us on 446,
Sure.
but we will go live, at 6:30 for myself, Nick, Landon, Coach Perkins, and Ryan. We will see you Friday night live from Church Point. Good night, everyone.
Go